Hello and welcome back to Wayman. We left you last week just as Duncan completed his first tunnel against the floor. Newsflash, he didn't like it. Join us today as we complete our 4.5-hour round trip for water and diesel in -2 conditions. Oh, it was cold. So this is my first time of doing a lift bridge. Well, if you're a little bit cold, you're not now. This was a lot harder than I thought. When you watch other videos, the person who's operating the lift bridge generally just comments on how many turns it takes. I didn't help myself though, as my gloves kept getting caught, but it was far too cold to take them off. You get my gloves stuck. Bloody hell!
Yeah, it's not so bad doing that in this weather. At least you keep warm, don't you?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's a lovely boat, isn't it?
It's lovely. Yeah, well, it was before I got hold of it.
Hey?
It was before I got hold of it.
Still looks nice at the moment. How long have you had it then?
2 months, well, 2.5 months. Just Good afternoon. We're on this side of the aqueduct. It's opening at the weekend and we're going to go over and empty the rubbish. We're at the water point at the moment and we did walk down yesterday to make sure it wasn't frozen. But there's a lot of permanent moorings here, so they've been making sure that the water doesn't freeze. But what we didn't account for was that our hose pipe had frozen. So that's something we never thought of, and it will be on the cards for the next time. It'll be on the checklist. The aqueduct is undergoing repairs at the minute, but navigation is open every day from 3 o'clock till 9 AM the following morning. It's also open at the weekends, but that's subject to change if the work gets behind. All pedestrian access though is closed. There's something about being so close to the gap that just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Captain Birdseye didn't help my nerves any, as he started talking about the new Wallace and Gromit movie and a narrowboat called the Accrington Queen. That come to a rather sticky end on an aqueduct. If you look at the gap between the hire boats, you will see that the basin is frozen, so we will just have to tie up in front of them whilst we get our diesel. We're just coming to the end of today's cruise now. How long have we been cruising for?
4 hours and 35 minutes.
4 hours and 35 minutes. We've filled up with water, we've filled up with diesel,
Ditch the gas.
emptied the toilets and ditched all the rubbish. And we're going to end up where we started, back where we started.
Assuming nobody's got a spot.
Yes, because we went down through the tunnel, turned around at the marina, came all the way back, filled up with the with water over the aqueduct, filled up with diesel at Trevor Basin, come back over the aqueduct all the way back on here, and we're just about 2 minutes away from where we started from. And it's
Right.
taken us 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it's around the corner. We could have done all of that in the marina, Chirk Marina, but unfortunately she's frozen.
Recording. We had a lovely walk up to Chirk Castle today. The weather was gorgeous. The castle was built in the 13th century and was never intended to be a family home. Instead, it was one of the marcher fortresses along the Welsh-English border, and it was built to keep the Welsh under English rule. The first gardens here date from around 1600, but were redone in 1760 by William Eames, who was a contemporary of Capability Brown. The hedges are shaped to represent castellated walls, and once a year it takes 3 staff and a team of volunteers 6 to 8 weeks to cut the hedges by electric shears, ladders and a cherry picker. In the 1920s, 2 men did it all by hand. Who lives in a house like this? Not me. We're on just a short cruise today. We've got the tunnel, Chirk Tunnel, the aqueduct and 2 bridges, and we're going to park somewhere near the porches.
Somewhere near you.
This is the first time I've been on the tiller for about a month now. You took over on the way from Trevor to Llangollen, yeah. And we've done a few short hops then, and Duncan's took the tiller, and you've done a marvellous job.
Have I? No,
Yeah.
because I'm good, like.
Because you're not me, like.
No, I wouldn't say that.
He's been a lot less stressed because obviously he's doing it himself and he hasn't got to think about what I'm doing or what I'm not doing
Or what I want to say.
or what he wants to say.
By the time I've thought about what I want to say, we've crashed many, many times, and I've got the paint pot
Bumped,
out.
kissed,
Yeah, sorry, kissed.
kissed, just kissed,
Yes.
kissed a little bit. It's quite, where we are now, it's quite in a little bit of a,
Valley.
yeah, in a valley. It's been nice, but we were here for a reason, and that was, we had friends visiting us and they were up in the campsite, which is just up there. So it was nicely positioned for them, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
But it's time to go and get some sun.
Sun.
Well, some daylight.
You realise this is Wales in January.
Daylight. So we'll take you with us. Like I say, we've got the tunnel first,
Poor thing.
and then and then the aqueduct. Hope you enjoy it. I have been filming our travels for nearly a year now, and you would think that I would be quite competent at it. I lost the footage that I took going through Chirk Tunnel and going over the aqueduct, but honestly I was great. Going with the flow is much easier. We're now moored at the porches and will stay here for a few days as we recover from a few days of socialising. It takes so much out of you these days. Join us next week as we endure Storm Eowyn and Duncan takes on his first locks. Thanks very much for watching.